Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Craft Round the Clock segment. Tonight we're going to attempt to paint some tulips. I'm Yvette from Old Times Paint Parties, in case you have not been here before. We're going to get started. I think Tracy will be in here to share us over into the Craft Round the Clock group, and I've linked the group link at the top of this or bottom of this post, wherever it shows up on your screen. You can head over there to watch more crafters and fun. All right, so we're going to attempt to paint these tulips. We never know how it's going to go, so just give me some grace because I just drew it out and I don't have a demo tonight for you, so we're just going to wing it and hope for the best. All right, if you haven't been here before, please let me know and let me know you're new to my page. All right, we're just going to get started. So this kind of looks like a mishmash, and it does to me too. So we're going to just start with the leaves and start getting those blocked in. I'll pop over my side eye over to the comments every once in a while to see what's going on over there. But if I miss your comment, don't worry, I will read them later. Sometimes it's hard for me to look at comments and paint at the same time. So I'm just going to start blocking in these leaves because there's so many leaves down here. I want to kind of make sure that I can make sense of these while I'm painting them. So we're just going to block them in one at a time. We're here until 9:15, I believe. There's Miss Tracy. Hello. Yes, 9:15, I think, is when our segment is done, and then there will be some more crafters after me over on the Craft Round the Clock group page. Now, I want that to be a little more pointy on the end there. Who's all popping in here? Well, there's Miss Karina. Hi. All right, got a few of you. There you are. You're starting to come in now. I can see you now. Facebook's a little delayed sometimes. I went a little over there. That leaf is now going to get a little wider. And this is kind of how it goes with me. So bear with me as I get these leaves in here. So as for a template for this one, I have not yet made one. I just drew this on the fly sort of thing. So I will have to make one after if anyone wants one to attempt some pretty little tulips. We're hoping that they're going to be pretty anyways. Let's cross our fingers. So this is just painted on I think it's a 6x8, something like that. It's a small dollar store canvas, nothing fancy. But you can always paint on any surface. If it's not moving, paint on it. That's what I always say. You can paint on anything. I'm just slowly getting these in here. Hi, Connie. Miss Connie, I need to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask you right here, right now. Was it you that was asking me for the heart cutouts that I forgot in your kit of the tiered tray? Because I know someone messaged me, I cut them out, and then I couldn't find the email or the message. So I'm thinking it was you, but let me know if I'm right or wrong. And if it is you, I will get them sent to you. don't know why your name's stuck in my head. I'm thinking it was you. I don't know. Oh, thanks, Connie. But yes, answer me that question. Did you ask me for hearts that I forgot in your kit? I'm going to narrow it down and see who it was. So I'm just basing these in with Hauser medium green. And like I said, I'm trying to keep them so that I can see where the divisions are, because I need to shade in between these so we can see where they're at. And the tricky ones are the ones that are kind of in behind everything. Because then they start to just look like one big old leaf if I don't try and keep these. Oh, did you? I can get you one of those too. Sometimes you have to look on your floor too, because I've had those little pieces get away on me real fast. You vacuum them up accidentally sometimes, but if I forgot it, I can get you one. Anyways, we'll figure out who it was. Let's see. Okay, trying to decipher here. Where am I at? I think this one comes down like this. Once we get all this shading on, these leaves will all make sense. They'll all make sense. But right now, we're just trying to get them all blocked in here. One in here. And I mean, we can do these in sections too. So, I mean, I can base out some of these and then shade them a little bit, and then we know where they're at, and then we can kind of fill in the other ones. But again, we're just winging it tonight. This is kind of how a painting takes shape. All right, and there's that other piece of that one sticking out the back there. Sorry for the spinning. I'm just trying to keep my hands not over top of it so you can see what I'm doing. That's this one that's kind of in the back there. There's one in the back here, and there's one in the back there, and I think we have them all. Minus our stems that we haven't painted yet. And sometimes when, you know, you're doing this for the first time, like I am right now, you may add things as you go. You know, what it starts out as, it might transform into more elements added or whatnot. So let's see where it takes us. And that one kind of is like right in behind all of this business in here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Sue. Oh no, Mary Beth, you had some trouble with your tulips this weekend. Well, let's hope that I can do mine justice and you can maybe try yours again. Hopefully I can help you with from this painting and maybe you can try yours again. Sometimes that happens, and I'm not going to say that it might not happen tonight too, because sometimes that it just you know doesn't work out and it's okay. I've had that happen to me too. All right, I think the trick is with these leaves, I think that's the first coat. I think we got it on there now. So now we can go back and darken these down a little bit with a little bit more of this green. So now we know where they're at. Get a second coat on there, and then we can start shading these. I'm going to shade the leaves a little bit, like I said, first, so we can not stress about those like I am stressing about those. I was afraid that it was just going to be one big old blob of leaves, and then I had to try and decipher where I'm at. So I'm hoping to be able to get this whole thing done. Hence why I picked a smaller project for tonight, so I can get it done in one segment. And if I don't, at least get one or two of these tulips done so that you can see how I paint them, which I don't even know how I'm going to paint them yet. So we're in it together. Time will tell how this all turns out. It's a mystery to me as well as you. So I haven't based my stems for my flowers yet either, but we'll get to those in a moment. So you can kind of see how I've left just the tiniest of gap in between those leaves so I can still see where I'm going. And then when you go over the edge like that, then your leaves get a little bit bigger. Unintentionally bigger. All right, get these little guys back here. I think I'm just going to put 2 coats on them and we can work with that. Once we get our shading and highlighting on there, we should be good to go. Now, I think by rights, I would probably, if I was sitting here on my own, I would probably put another coat on these, be a little more, involved with it. But I think this second coat should be enough to get us going here for this demo purposes anyway, so that you don't get bored with watching me paint green leaves. We'll move on and see where we're at. Okay, let's give that a little dry. Hi, Cheryl. I like any color of tulips, really. They're all pretty. I wouldn't, you know, be upset about it. I wouldn't get mad at it. All right, let us get some. I have some already on my plate, but I'm going to use some of the Hauser dark green, and I'm going to get my shadows in here so that we can definitely separate those out. So start down here in this corner. And bear with me as I get this on here, and then you'll be able to see all the different leaves that are in here. So I'm just kind of going in behind that one. And then we have one down here. So can you see how that starts to divide them out nicely so you can kind of see where they are? Then it makes me a little less stressed when I know where they're at. You're all so quiet tonight. It's Monday, I know. I get it. Once I get this darker color in here too, I'll be able to get my stems spaced out, and then I'll be able to get those all shaded and highlighted too. I didn't put the stems on right now because then it would have just been a solid green mass down here and even more confusing. So I didn't do that. Still trying to decipher what's happening here. All right, let's get some. I think there's another leaf over here that I am missing. Right in here. This may be a whole different shapes as to what I had drawn on here by the time it's all said and done. All right, I'll put a little bit under this flower. Okay. That's a little better anyway. You can kind of see those. Now we can throw some highlights on there and it'll be even better, and we can start on some flowers. Now, we can always come back to the leaves too. Once we, get working on our flowers, we can always come back to these and touch them up wherever we see fit. We don't have to stop right here. You can always tweak it later. We do want to darken down here at the bottom, get that shadow going down here. And I think we'll go up on this side of this one here. Put some down at the bottom. Are we getting that? I hope not. I haven't seen any snow. It's melting here right now, but I did hear where, I don't know, somebody said something about ice rain, freezing rain or something. I don't know. Time will tell. Anymore, you just look outside and that's what you get. It's hard to know. March is so unpredictable. All right, I think that's a little bit better. A little better. And let's get some highlights happening. So I have some out on my plate here. I have some Hauser light green, and I also have some citron green, I think. Yeah, citron green. So let's give this a dry, and then we'll start highlighting a little bit. And then we'll start on some flowers. So that's kind of a, I will play around with that some more, but it's kind of good right now. We can kind of see where everything's at. And then now that we can see where the leaves are, we can start to highlight these a little bit on that other side. And they'll take on even more shape. Get this on relatively fast so we can get to a couple of the flowers so you can see how they'll come together, hopefully. And you don't always have to stop at one coat either. If you're highlighting or shading, you can always go over it again. Second coat usually brightens it up a lot more than the first. Sometimes it's fun just to mess around. Mary Beth, maybe it wasn't so fun for you, girlfriend, because you said your flowers turned out crappy. Terrible is what you said. So that kind of isn't fun, but I mean, sometimes it's fun just to try it. Try it once in a while and see how it's going to work out. You know, you're going to have fails. Sometimes it's just going to work out, and other times you're going to, I mean, I know I've been there. It's frustrating. But it's kind of fun just to mess around a little bit and see how things are going to turn out. I've had a few projects end up right in the circular file, so don't worry. It's no different anywhere. We all have those moments. Okay, let's see. So that's a little bit better. I mean, we can grab some of this citron green too and add a little bit of that, you know, in here too. Just to give those leaves a little yellow tint. It's kind of like a yellowish transparent color. Try a little bit of that, give them a little bit of extra something if they're looking flat. Yeah, I think I'll add a little bit of that to here, just on those edges. I think it's looking pretty good. So we'll just keep going with that little process. And then I think I'm going to try some peach. I have some peaches and cream and some white peach. We're going to try peachy colored flowers. Let me see how that turns out. Give that a whirl. But I think our leaves are starting to come together a little bit here. I'm not hating on them, so I like that I can see where they are. And like I said, I know that I would come back in here and tweak these some more and fiddle around with them. Add some more of that dark stuff down in here. But we're going to move on to a flower here momentarily. Get too involved in these leaves. Put a little bit of that lighter stuff over here. All right, are we done messing with that? Oh no, Susan. Oh my goodness, girl, you have got it. Some stuff going on. I hope you get better soon. But I'm glad I can be a source of entertainment while you're in it there. My goodness, you've had an awful time. Not where you want to be. All right, I think I'm going to stop messing with those now. And we're going to, yes, poor Susan. Move on to some flowers. Okay, we have 15 minutes. We should be able to crack out a couple of these flowers here. Let's give it a go. All right, as for the, I do want to do one more thing. As for the little stems, we're going to work on this flower right here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to work this stem in here a little bit. I got a little bit too much water on my brush there. And we'll work this one in here. So we'll just get that little stem in there first. So you can see it, and then we'll start on that flower. So I'm going to do that flower in some of the peaches and cream. We're going to base these little petals in that color. Let's get some color on here other than green. Oh, I think it's going to look good. I like it already, this color. And the same sort of thing, I'm going to try and make sure that I can sort of see where each petal is. So I'm just going to leave that little, I'm painting each one separately so I can kind of see where I'm at instead of just doing one big blob and then trying to figure out where are my petals. So I think that's the approach we're going to take with this. There are a few little pieces. So this one inside. So I'm just going to try and leave that tiniest little gap in between those petals so I can see where they are. We got a couple more little petals back here. We'll give it a dry and see if we need to add another coat, which we probably will. And then we'll do some highlighting and shading on this one and see how it looks. All right, a little bit more peaches and cream. I think that's the color I'm using. Let me see here. Yes, peaches and cream. I don't want to steer you wrong. Tell you lies. Now you could do multicolored flowers throughout your whole, I mean, you don't have to just do, I opted to do like a lighter peach and this darker peach. But I mean, it just depends on your mood. If you want to do all different colors, you could. All right, so that looks good. Now let's try some shading. So I have, for shading and highlighting, I have a little bit of burnt orange to get in those shadowed areas of the petals, and then a little bit of that white peach. So we're going to see how this goes. Let's do it. Let's do it. So a little bit of burnt orange. And we're just going to come along inside this edge. Right there. Like that. And I'm going to flip you. We have to come along this inside edge here and come right into that point. And we're going to darken that down a little bit in there. I'm going to dry this a little bit so I don't pull all of that off. And we'll get it a little bit darker. We're learning together. experimenting together. Okay. Then we have another petal up here. So we want to come along that edge like that. And then I think I'll put this one in behind that one. The trick is to dry in between those coats too as you're in those tight little areas, because if you try to keep working it while it's wet, you'll just pull paint off. You'll be very frustrated. So I just want to get a little bit down in there to separate those two bigger petals. And we'll dry that. That's how it's looking so far. And then I want to put a little bit down on this very bottom edge. And then we can do some highlighting. So that's as simple as I'm going to make it. So we want to just come down here a little bit. You can kind of wiggle your brush a smidge. Let's come at it this way, and it'll make those lines, you know, sort of like this. You can see how it kind of makes the lines in the petals a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit more in here because it's kind of fading out. I want it to be darkest right in that tiny little corner. And then I think we'll be ready to do a little highlighting on here, on the tips of our flowers. I think that one's turning out pretty good. What say you, ladies? All right, so let's put some of that lighter peach color on the ends. So this is white peach. And we'll start up here at this top one. We're just going to get those ends. I'm going to wiggle my brush just a little bit, just to get the little bit of texture on there. And then we'll move into, yeah, let's do this one behind first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And then we'll move into this one. And then we'll do our two big outer ones. So I'm really going to kind of push down on my brush and wiggle that so that we can get those little petal lines. You know how they look. Get those little lines kind of down like this. That's looking good. And then we'll do our bigger ones. So let's start with this one on the left. And we'll come right up into that point. Right down this edge. We'll just get that little feathered edge just by wiggling our brush a little bit up into that burnt orange color. That one kind of tucks in there. Now this light color will fade out a little bit, so we may have to go over it again once it's dry, but we'll get this other side on here and then we'll have a look at it. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to wiggle that brush a little bit. Get that sort of feathery edge. Time we got 5 minutes. 5 more minutes of fun. And we'll bring that down like so. All right, how's that looking to you? That looks pretty. All right, Mary Beth, do you think you can do that? Have I helped you? I hope so. Hope Mary Beth's still here, or she comes back and watches this so she can fix up her tulips, the poor girl. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of this white peach because it does fade out a little bit, and I kind of want it to be a little bit brighter. Could even use a little bit of white on there if you wanted to, instead of the white peach. There's no rules. You can do that too. And, you know, I might even go back and put a little white highlight on some little areas of this edge, just as another layer to brighten it up a little bit. Sorry, just watching my time. I don't want to encroach on anybody who's coming after me. Make sure you stick around too on the Craft Around the Clock channel so that you can watch some more crafting tonight. The group page, I should say. I shouldn't say channel. I think y'all knew what I meant. So let's grab a little white. I just want to see how that might look. Just on those little edges, maybe. Just for the heck of it. Experiment a little bit. But I think I'm liking how that flower turned out. So what I'm going to do, and I'll post a pic of this because I'm not going to obviously get it all finished, but the contrast that I want to do is the white peach flowers. So I'll start one here, but I don't think I will get to finishing it on camera. But I hope I've helped somebody, any of you, with your tulip woes. They're not a super hard flower to paint. It's just knowing the steps and it kind of breaking it down helps a little bit. And these, you know, you can get much more elaborate with flowers. I'm not the most amazing floral painter. Flowers are hard on a good day. Getting the shadows and all those things in the places that if you're trying to do a realistic looking flower, they're not easy. They're, you know, like not easy for me either. But I love to try and see if I can make them look as real as possible. I hope you give it a try too. So I think I'm going to offer this template, but I think what I'm going to start doing, just I'll say it quickly because we have 1 minute, is some of the templates that I do on Craft Around the Clock. I'll be giving like a discount, you know, for $2 or $2.50, whatever. If you watched the tutorial and you want to try, we'll give a little CRtC discount for those templates that we do here. All right, so that's kind of going to be the lighter flower. And like I said, I'll post a picture of what that one turns out like, and I'll finish it up so you can see it. And I'll also add the template for y'all and a little CRtC discount for you. All right, I hope you enjoyed watching me paint this, and I hope that it helps you with painting your tulips. Okay.